Okay, hello. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's having a great day today. Okay, here we go. Okay, we are live now. Hey everyone. And I'm gonna have that retail video up tonight. A few hours after the stream. I'm doing good, how are you guys? Okay, Raccoon. Does anybody have anything they need help with right now? Anything on GTA? Hi everyone. Hi Mobinator, thank you for sponsoring my channel, dude. Hey Reese's Puffs, how are you doing, dude? Pro, is it true your favorite Fallout 3 companion is Clover? No, my favorite Fallout 3 companion is Jericho. Am I enjoying Mafia 3? Yeah. I'm just getting what I'm getting really frustrated about when it comes to Mafia 3 is that every video is getting so many copyright claims, but even when I get rid of all the copyright claims, the video still gets demonetized because a lot of the characters say racist words, and so like every video is getting demonetized. Like the first two Mafia parts have not been monetized at all. That's got me a bit frustrated, but it is, you know, it is what it is. But hopefully, I'll upload the next part tomorrow. Hopefully nothing, hopefully nothing gets demonetized again. The thing I don't understand about this, what I don't understand is that, like, YouTube is, like, demonetizing, like, the Mafia 3 videos for having racist words. It's not like I'm saying it. I'm not saying it. It's the characters in the game. But the whole reason that the characters say the racist words in the game is you're not supposed to like those characters. That's basically the whole point. And also, demonetizing stuff like that is basically a disservice to history, because that basically negates the horrible things that people were going through in that time period. And so that time period is supposed to, like, show the massive racism that was going on in the South in the 60s. And just, like, by censoring that stuff, what they're doing is it's pretty much a disservice to history, because it's downplaying what has basically happened. So I don't understand that. That's the whole point of them having the racist words in Mafia 3, is to basically show you how bad it was in that time period. A lot of people were scumbags. Let me see. Hey, Pro, did you get my message about doing the prison break? Yeah, I just didn't get a chance to respond. I could probably help you with it later this week. Unknown Notion. Hey, Justin Freeman, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Unknown Notion. Thank you, Dixon. Question for Patrick. When you do a playthrough of GTA 6, are you going to wear women's clothes for when you cosplay Lucia? No. I'm just going to cosplay as whatever Jason is wearing for the story. Yeah, I can do that, Brandon. How am I liking Mafia 3? Yeah, it's fun. I'm liking it. Will I be playing Ghost of Yotei? Yes. Yeah, we'll do Ghost of Yotei. The only thing about Ghost of Yotei is I haven't decided on whether I want to do it as a video series or as a stream series. I don't know if I should do it as a stream or a video, but yeah, I want to do Ghost of Yotei. I want to play another open world game. It's like, I've like, after that Mind's Eye disaster, I need a good game. Mafia: The Old Country, at least, that was a good game for me. But I want like a really big open world game, like a game I can do so many side things in, and Ghost of Yotei is that game. So yeah, I'll probably play that one. Yeah, maybe Mason. Do I think that Trevor Phillips supported the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk? That's the treaty in World War I that basically knocked Russia out of the war. and gave a lot of land to Germany. What are you talking about relating it to GTA? I don't understand. Would I play Fallout 4 again? Yeah. I never beat the Fallout 4 DLCs, like the Far Harbor one, so I gotta play that one day, yeah. Mafia 3 is not a bad game at all. I don't know why people say it's a bad game. It's not a bad game by any means. Do I think Johnny Sack was responsible for Carmine Sr.'s death in The Sopranos? No, he died of a stroke. Do I think the UK digital ID is a good idea? No. You don't want government to have that much power over your personal lives. I don't know why some people think that that's a good idea, but it's no, it's like the government keeping track of people like that. No, I would never support something like that personally. Brandon, get ready to start up your next crate. I'll get your next crate right after this is delivered. Oh crap. Do you think we're gonna see Davey back in GTA 6? No, there's no reason to see him. I think the character that you're probably gonna do you know what character you're probably gonna see in GTA 6 that a lot of people haven't talked about? You're probably gonna see Phil Bell. You remember Phil from GTA 4? Phil skipped town afterwards, and Phil is not the type of person to go into illegal work. He probably went into something illegal, and he skipped town. We don't know exactly where he went, but we didn't see him in GTA 5, and so he's probably going to be in GTA 6. And Phil is still old enough to commit crimes, by the way, when GTA 6 comes out. Phil would be 58 at the time of GTA 6. He was 41 in GTA 4. So I think Phil can come back in, yeah. Phil will probably make an appearance. For sentries in Mafia 3, if they call it at a racket base, the reinforcement size usually 3 cars with 3 guys each, and are highlighted on the map. Yeah, and when I'm gonna try to stop those people next time really quickly, London. Thank you for the super chat. But I hate how they run for the phone. I passed what, pirate? When is the retail? Oh, it's coming out tonight. Tonight. The retail video. There's too much surveillance of Phil to be committing a crime, maybe. But I guess we'll see. Hey Pat, my job at FedEx in Indiana has been going pretty well so far. My coworkers and manager have been pretty kind, loyal, and supportive to me, and I'm glad I don't work in retail thanks to you. And I will say to you on this is stay in that job for as long as you can, unless you get a really good job offer somewhere else for like a substantial amount of money. And the reason I say this is because you got extremely lucky there, Isaiah. It's very lucky that you get a situation where your boss and your coworkers are all really nice. Very rarely is that type of situation happen. It's either your coworkers are scumbags or your boss is a scumbag or both. But sometimes you'll have it your coworkers are nice but your boss is a scumbag, or it might be your boss is nice but your coworkers are a scumbag. So if you get into a job where everybody's nice, your coworkers and your boss, stay there for as long as you can. Because that is not a toxic environment to work in, unless the company itself is being toxic. That's the other thing that could happen. FedEx could be toxic, but I don't know how FedEx treats its workers, but... I'm doing good unlocking. How are you doing? Oh, congratulations, Brandon. Oh, come on. Have I played Watch Dogs 2? No. I played Watch Dogs 1 and Legion. I never got a chance to play 2, but 2 is on my list of games to play. Do you think psychic mediums are a scam? What you mean? You mean like those people that you go to and they put these different cards on the table and they tell you like your fortune and your future and stuff? Are you? Is that what you're talking about, Suspect 13? You don't have to give me another super chat. Just tell me, is that what you're talking about? Like the people who put the cards down and stuff like that and are trying to predict your future? Man, my God, how far is this guy? Man, this van, was this van going like 100 miles per hour? Where the hell is this van? This is ridiculous now. This better be the van when I catch up to it. No, David. Oh, did I just pass it? I passed it. Oh, crap. Stop spinning out, car. No cards or crystal balls. I'm talking about people who have helped investigate haunted places. Haunted places? What, like, I honestly, I don't know if I really believe in that stuff, that, like, people are psychics and stuff like that. I don't know if I really believe in that type of stuff. I think that I wouldn't use the term psychic. I would more use the term, how should I describe it? I think that some people have a gift at being able to read others. And when I say read others, I don't necessarily mean like, I don't necessarily mean like, being like a psychic. I mean that you can figure things out about people pretty quickly. That, like, just by talking to somebody, you can read their personality pretty quickly. You can figure out, like, the type of person they are, you know, and you can kind of make assumptions based on what that person does, and then you give that person advice, and it sounds like a psychic. I think that's more of what it's like. I don't necessarily think that it's, people are psychics. Every time I do a live stream, I always lose, subs. Yeah, and the thing is I wouldn't worry about that, Greens. The thing is, it happens to me too. When I start up live streams, I probably lose like 10 subscribers at the start of the live stream. Like the first minute, I have 10 people unsubscribe every time I start a live stream. But then what happens is maybe like 2 hours into the stream, I gain like 20 subs. So I probably will get like, you know, double that back. But what will happen is, usually whenever I post like the playthrough videos, like if it's Mafia 3 or something else, I usually lose like 30 subs every playthrough part that I put up. And what happens is, after like a month, each playthrough part usually gets like around 30 or 40 subscribers. So it does like lose a bunch of people when you upload, but then you come back, and over time, yeah, I guess more people just yeah. I honestly, I personally speaking, I have never unsubscribed from a channel before because I didn't like what a channel was doing. The only time I've unsubscribed from channels before is if they've done something like really bad. That's the only time I've unsubscribed from channels. I don't really ever unsubscribe from people. So when I subscribe to somebody, they were subscribed to me for life. I'm subscribed to them for life. So even if I don't watch their content anymore, like there's YouTube channels I'm still subscribed to, and I haven't watched them for like years. But that's basically how I do things, is I never really unsubscribe from people. I stay subscribed to people forever, pretty much. The only time I'll unsubscribe is if they've done something, like, really bad. That's the only time. I was more saying, to let them, one of them deliberately go for the phone in a racket location. Each henchman that you drop will do $50 of racket damage. I guess that's part of it too, but I like to do things stealthy, London, so I guess I just can't do that. Even if I do more racket damage, it's not... Yeah, I just can't do that. I have to do everything, quietly. That's just how I play. India have an ID similar to UK where people need to give their biometrics and other personal details. This ID is linked with almost all other documents. Yeah, and I will tell you something, that will never happen in America. Because in America, if something like that happened, you would have, like, really, really, really big protests. Like, Americans are really, like... If you take a look at, like, most of the countries in the world, right? If you compare, like, America to most of the countries in the world, like, American culture revolves heavily around, like, criticizing the government. And Americans, for the most part, largely don't criticize government. Like, if you look at people just around the world, who hates their government the most, it's usually Americans. Americans usually hate their government more than anyone else. Like I think Congress has, like, a 90%, disapproval rating. So it's, so Americans hate their government the most, they trust their government the least. And I can never imagine something like that happening in America. Even if something like that happened, where the government tried to force people to do that, the majority of people would not comply. They would just not listen to it. And the thing is, I even have proof for this. I remember that there was a there was, like, a couple years ago, the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms Bureau, the ATF, for example, they had demanded that pistol braces were I forget what they called them specifically. I think they defined them as a specific type of assault weapon, but basically what the ATF said is that pistol braces need to be registered now. And pistol brace is basically just something that would help you stabilize a gun. It's not a, this is not something that makes a gun, fire faster or anything like that. And what ended up happening is, I think there was somewhere around, like, 50 million pistol braces sold in the country. It was like 50 million pistol braces somewhere in circulation. And what happened is, if you did not register your pistol brace, you were facing 10 years in prison. 10 years for not registering it. And when the deadline came to register the pistol braces, what happened was, I think it was only like 200,000 people, registered their pistol brace. And out of, like, 50 million people that have pistol braces, if you register, like, only 200,000 people, so that's, like, more than 95% of the people did not comply with that, and they were facing, like, 10 years in prison. And the ATF didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do because they had so many people that were just not complying. They couldn't put, like, millions of people in prison like that. They couldn't do that. They even using that many cases at once, it would swarm the courts. And then I think the Supreme Court threw the case out. I think that's what they did. But basically, the point that I'm getting at is that, like, Americans, for the most part, will not comply with, like, stuff like that. So, like, if the government is, like, doing something like that, like violating people's privacy, Americans will, for the most part, it's just part of American culture. Americans don't trust their government, and so Americans, for the most part, are not going to comply with something like that. So if the government did, like, digital ID and stuff like that, I guarantee the majority of people would not comply with that. It would just not happen. Okay. Let me see here. Thank you, WRV, for sponsoring my channel for 2.5 years. Hey, Pro, I'm starting my first day at retail tomorrow. I'm kind of nervous as I've seen your videos on experiences at retail. Got any advice for me? Wait, did I take the wrong truck? What? No, I think I took the wrong truck. What am I doing? I thought this was the one with the cargo. Yeah, look, I will say this, Swiss, and when I say this, I don't want to scare you when I say this, Swiss, but no matter how nice you are, you can be the nicest person on the planet, it doesn't matter, you are going to have rude customers, you're going to have people that are going to curse you out and it's going to yell at you. Now, this isn't something that's going to happen every single day, so don't panic. This happens, usually in the occasion, but it's eventually going to happen. If you work in retail long enough, you are going to get cursed out. It's going to happen. There's nothing you can do to really stop it. And these people, there's nothing you can really do to reason with them, is they will blame you for something that is totally out of your control, and they'll basically just yell at you and curse you out. So the only thing I'll say for you is to just be prepared for that. Be prepared to deal with rude people that no matter what you do, they're just not going to be reasonable. And there's nothing you can do about that. So, like, don't feel like you're guilty or anything like that, but just, the thing is, though, is that before I started working in retail, I used to be a more cheerful person, and I would say that retail did change my personality in a bit, because before I started working in retail, I never in my life imagined that somebody would be so stupid and unreasonable to basically throw a temper tantrum and curse somebody out over a $1 coupon. Like, I never imagined that somebody would be that stupid, that they would just basically just start cursing in the middle of the store, and just, I was like a 19-year-old naive kid at the time, and I did not think that somebody would, start a scene over a $1 coupon, but boy was I wrong. So that's basically what I'm saying. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't work in retail. The only thing I'm telling you is just be prepared for that, stuff like that can pretty much happen. And I will say this, retail is not a bad first job. You do learn people skills in retail, so retail does have its benefits. You do learn how to talk to people, so you do learn good customer service skills. But I will say that it is not a good place you want to stay in for long. It's not a place you want to make a career out of. So, stay there for maybe a year or two, make some extra money, save it, either invest it in college or maybe invest it into like a business or your next job, whatever it is. You don't even need to go to college to be successful. So just, that's basically what I'll say about that. Is that maybe use that as a job to look for another job in the future. Maybe that. Least evil boss in the Mafia series? It would have to probably be, Sammy, because Sammy helps his community out. Yeah, probably Sammy. Thank you, Mr. 159. And thank you, Mr. Professional. People are so biased against Mafia 3. Yeah, I don't know what the dislike is for Mafia 3. It's a decent game. Have I ever unsubscribed from a bad channel? The last time the last time that I did unsubscribe from somebody, I do remember who it was. It was like a year or two ago, but the person that I unsubscribed from was Legal Eagle. He's a lawyer channel. The reason that I unsubscribed from him is because he was extremely biased, like very, very biased, and I was just getting pretty frustrated. Like I'll explain why I unsubscribed from him. So basically, what happened with Legal Eagle is that the government of Florida had sued Disney World like a couple years ago, and so the government of Florida was doing a case against Disney World. And what happened was Legal Eagle uploaded like a bunch of videos in his channel, and in those videos he basically said, oh wait, hang on, let's see, the last one that starts blinking is the one that you're supposed to go to. Okay, this is the one. So that's a tip for you guys. If you're ever doing crates, the one that starts blinking last is the one that you're gonna get. But anyways, Disney was going up against the government of Florida, and what happened was Legal Eagle uploaded a bunch of videos where he said that Florida is going to lose this case, the government of Florida is going to lose, and the governor of Florida is going to lose really badly. Like, he just kept saying they're going to lose, they're going to lose, they're going to lose, and he bragged about it even. And what ended up happening was, guess who lost? Florida didn't lose. Disney World lost the case. And then after Disney World lost the case, he refused to make a video talking about the aftermath of that. Like, he just wouldn't talk about it. Like, he kept uploading videos where he said that Florida was going to lose the case, they were going to lose the case, and then when Florida won the case, he wouldn't talk about it. And at that point, I said, this guy's biased as hell. So, like, I'm not going to watch this guy anymore. And I unsubscribed from him pretty much at that point. I do like other lawyer channels. Like, I like Ugo Lord. Ugo Lord is, like, the best. And then Law by Mike. Law by Mike is pretty good too, but I didn't like Legal Eagle because I just saw, when I watched his videos, I just felt like an extreme sense of bias. Like, he wouldn't talk about the facts, and I'm not saying what Florida did was right or wrong. The only thing I'm saying about it is that he didn't, he kept saying that that Florida was gonna lose, they were gonna lose, and when Florida won, he refused to cover the case. So, like, he refused to admit that he was wrong, and that's why I unsubscribed from the guy. I didn't like him. So that was really the last channel I unsubscribed from. That was, like, more than a year ago when that happened. So that was pretty much that. Let me see here. Be prepared for dumb people too. There are dumb people in retail too. A lot of people do dumb things too. When is the retail video? Tonight. I missed your super chat? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't see your super chat here earlier. Let me see here. Hey, Pro, would you support a Native American independent state? Well, Native American, you're in Canada. I don't know how the Canadian, Native American states work. I'm assuming they work kind of similar to the U.S. But I'll say about that is that Native American states are kind of independent in a way. I mean, they're technically, like, in my country at least, they're part of the United States, but they have their own, constitution and their own local government and their own local police force, and their laws are a lot of times very different than American laws. But if you're asking me, do I think that they should be like break away and like become like full independent countries. What I'll say about that is I think that should be up to them. If they want to have like a referendum and they want to like be like a full independent country, then go ahead. But I will say though that if in my country, if there was like Native American reservations and they became their own countries, they would not gain anything from it. Like they wouldn't gain anything from it. I don't know about your country, Canada, but I'm telling you, in my country, they wouldn't gain anything because they are landlocked. They're not really on the ocean, so all of their reservations are in the land. And basically, they would be these tiny, micro states that are inside the United States, and their largest trading partner would still be the United States. And so, right now, being part of the United States and Americans coming freely on their reservations, and then people going, and then people from the reservations also going to America, because all Native Americans are American citizens. So if for example, a Native American reservation became an independent country, they could very much lose citizenship. Like all Native Americans that are living on that reservation could lose American citizenship. It might happen. So there really wouldn't be any pros to like a reservation, like becoming independent. But if I would just say it's up to the people. If they like want to do a referendum and they want to do that, go ahead. But I'm just saying that from like an economic standpoint, there would really be no no benefit to that. That's at least my perspective on it. I don't know about Canada, so that's where I know you are, but I'm just saying more about my country, the United States. Thank you, the OGBW member. I hope that answered your question. Do I realize that Nobihiro Watsuki's is a piece of crap offer of Runuki Kenshin manga? All I say is he did some really naughty, and he got slapped on the wrist. Well, the offer of Runuki Kenshin? I don't know that manga. But what, he did something in Japan? Thoughts on Black Ops 7 Reckoning's Black Ops 2's campaign? What do you mean Reckoning? What do you mean by that, Xavier? Thank you for the super chat. Oh, that's what he did. That's disgusting. Oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. Thank you, Xavier. Did I answer your question, by the way, Ojibwe member? Did I answer your question? Wrong van. I'm losing my track of thought right now. Yeah, I know, Brandon. Hey, Pro, it's now been a month since my dad died. Still unreal and angry having to deal with this at 26. I'm sad my dad won't be able to play GTA 6. He got me the GTA Vice City at 4 years old. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry about that, Sweet Pumpkin. You have my condolences. Thank you for the super chat. I can't imagine what it's like dealing with the losing a parent. You have my condolences. I'm sorry for your loss. Would I rather have Tenants from Hell or get griefed in GTA every day like back in the day. I'd rather get griefed on GTA every day because I don't have to play the game. Then that would Is that even a justification of a native rebellion? Wait, what is OGBW member? You gotta... What's the justification? What? I'm confused. Uh... Look back of what I posted. Let me see. Look, Pro, if you look at the past native people, their children were taken away and brainwashed to believe in Christ, and I highly oppose those who tell me what to think and what to believe. And I agree with you 100%. You know, nobody should be telling people what to believe and what to think. So, you know, nobody should be you know, force converting somebody to another religion. They shouldn't be doing something like that. So I agree with you 100%. The only thing I'm saying is, I'm saying that if Native American tribes, like for example, if they became fully independent countries, I'm just telling you it would not be good for them economically. It wouldn't. Because they have a much larger, easier time doing business with America by, you know, being part of America but having some sovereignty within the United States. But if they left the United States, there would be a lot of economic problems. But on top of that is Americans would not be able to freely travel to Native American reservations. And a lot of Americans actually do business with Native American reservations, so they come by. So if they become fully independent countries, now there's a border checkpoint. And that just makes everything more bureaucratic and complicated. And Native American businesses, stores, you know, tourist destinations, casinos as well, they're going to lose a lot of business from like Americans if they were you know, fully independent. And I bet you that the leaders of those reservations, they don't want to be fully independent countries. They know what would happen. So that's what I'm saying is I'm not telling people how to think or anything like that. I'm not, you know, I know that like back in the day there was times where like, you know, people got, you know, there was Native American children that were like, you know, kidnapped and they were, you know, taken to these boarding schools and they were, you know, forced to change their religion and, you know, and change their culture. I get that, and that was wrong. But I'm just talking about like, you know, modern day. I'm talking about, you know, you were asking me if I think these tribes should be like independent countries, and I said that my opinion is if they have a referendum, and the referendum is the majority of people in the referendum say we want to, you know, leave the United States, go ahead then. If that's what the majority of people want in the referendum, go ahead. The only thing I'm saying is I think it would be a bad idea. I'm saying I think it would cause those reservations problems if they went fully independent. But that's up to the people. I just gave my opinion on it. Uh, I missed some super chats. Let me look. Yeah, that's not your fault. I just jumped out. You were just going in a different direction. I wanted to go in the direction of where the cargo was. But watching your videos help my grief, bro. Help my grief. Thanks, bro. No problem, sweet pumpkin. Thank you for the super chat. I'm thinking a native coalition from all the way north to Upper Canada to the Ohio River. That would not happen. If you're thinking the closest thing that existed to that was the Iroquois Confederacy, but the Iroquois Confederacy did not work because they were separated by such far landmass, and also a lot of the tribes in the Iroquois Confederacy, they actually had different beliefs, different cultures. They didn't like each other. That's what a lot of people don't know. And when it comes to Native Americans, is a lot of Native American tribes, their culture can actually be very different, and a lot of times they have different languages than different tribes. And so trying to put multiple different tribes in the same, you know, country together isn't necessarily going to work either too. So that's one of the reasons the Iroquois Confederacy failed in America, was because they were separated by such a far distance, all the different tribes, and on top of that is that the tribes did not like each other. They didn't get along with each other. Some tribes really don't like each other. They really don't. Like, for example, like, I know in my country, the Sioux and the Crows, they don't like each other. Historically, they've had issues. They've had a lot of wars with each other. So that's basically it. Is you have to also think about that a lot of different tribes don't necessarily, get along with each other also. Explain Shy Gifka's escape. I'll show you Chernobyl. Are you talking about that video you sent me, the one with the train where the guy was like crossing from like Italy to Austria? Is that the one you're talking about, Pirate? Yes, the Comanches are disliked by a lot of tribes. Well, the reason that a lot of Native American tribes dislike the Comanches is because the Comanches were actually some of the most aggressive, warmongering tribes. The Comanches went to war with a lot of tribes. They did. They were conquerors. The Comanches, they operated in northern Mexico and Texas mostly. I think some of them were in Oklahoma too. But that was the Comanches. Yes, they were pretty warmongering back in the day. My grandmother was one of the residential school prisoners, and that's horrible. Uh, people should not be taken from their land and forced to adopt a new culture and religion. It's wrong. Maybe if I have time, Javi. Why didn't James Monroe face anyone in the election of 1820? That one I do not know. I actually don't know that one. Missed a super chat? Whose super chat did I miss? Hey Pat, what's up? How you doing? I'm doing good, Christine. How are you? Thank you, Pirate and Sweet Pumpkin also. Brandon asked me about, how many CEO crates do I want to do? I'll help you with one more mission after this one, Brandon, and then I'll go and help other people. How long will I be live? I'm usually online for a couple hours. Yeah, we'll stream for a few hours. Does the thought of Jedi Palpatine make your brain numb? Are you talking about that poll there was like a poll I saw recently, like who would win, Jedi Palpatine or Sith Luke? Yeah, Jedi Palpatine would just seem weird. Maybe I shouldn't do live stream for now. No, Greens, thank you for the super chat. Don't. Just because, look, just because you have some people that unsubscribe from you from time to time, don't let that get to you, dude. It's just, yeah, don't let that get to you, dude. Here's the thing. When you do your content on YouTube, don't really look at the subscriber numbers. Don't look at it, because it's gonna make you go crazy. Do I think a GTA co-op would be cool? While like one person plays as Jason, one person plays as Lucia? Yeah, it could be cool, but I don't know if they're really gonna do something like that. What's my favorite history topic to talk about? Maybe the French Revolution. Okay, Brandon, start up one more and I will help you here. What Mafia game is the best in your opinion? I think that was an accident. The best Mafia game in my opinion, besides Mafia: The Old Country, um, maybe Mafia Definitive Edition. Just the story and the graphics. It's okay. DR, it's not your fault. How long is the new elusive target live for in Hitman? Oh, drop zone, okay. Okay, Brandon, I can help you with that later. It's bad, the new Hitman elusive target. Wait, it's not fun? There are weird people in retail? Yeah. Would be awesome when you get to Splinter Cell. I used to play Splinter Cell Conviction a lot back in the day. I could I could play them again one day. Do you know if anyone hit max level legit in GT Online? I don't think so. What's the worst Call of Duty you played? Um, maybe Vanguard. Vanguard, probably, yeah. Well, Infinite Warfare. I've never really played Infinite Warfare, but yeah, it's messing around for throwing some flares. I'm sorry to hear about that. Ojibwe. You have my condolences. I cannot imagine what it's like losing a parent. Flares do divert Stinger missiles. Yeah, they do. Have I heard of the Iceman? Yes, the Iceman, the Iceman was a, he had a Polish name if I remember him correctly. He was a crazy hitman. I think he admitted to killing like 80 something people. Kuklinski, yes, that was him. The reason he was called Iceman is because he was such a cold person. Hitman Bruce Lee mission is until November 20. Okay. Yeah, I'll do more videos talking about history and Mafia. Oh, crap. GTA 6 is coming out, what, May 26th? Next year? Have I heard of Otto Skorzeny? Yes, I know who Otto Skorzeny is. He was, I think, a member of the SS. He was also a paratrooper. He was the guy who had all those scars on his face. He was the guy who actually busted Mussolini out of prison, and then he also fought in the Battle of the Bulge. So he and a bunch of German paratroopers freed Mussolini from a prison. And the really weird thing about Otto Skorzeny is I think he was that Nazi who actually ended up working for Israel. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think that was Otto Skorzeny, because I remember there was like a top German official that ended up working for the Israeli government. Was that Otto? I think it might have been him, but I think that's what During World War II, wasn't there a famous USSR female sniper, was a woman. I forgot her name. Ludmila Pavlichenko, that was her name. Yes, Ludmila Pavlichenko. She was the most famous Soviet sniper of World War II. Anyways, Pro, I believe that the current Prime Minister doesn't care about my people, and I've been betrayed. Trail once sent into foster care because of jealousy and then backstabbed by police. I'm sorry about that, OGB member. I'm sorry you went through that. Explain the toxicity of modern tribalism, Patrick. When you say modern tribalism, what are you talking about exactly? Are you talking about how people like separate themselves into groups? Is that what you're talking about? Can you explain a little bit more? Is that what you're talking about? And they just always stick with the group and they defend the group no matter what? Is that what you mean? Last one. People think Stalin was a good guy. There are some really dumb people out there that think that Stalin was a good person. Yes. Would I agree that society is built off toxic masculinity? No. I don't. No. You know, there was a, maybe, like, you know, maybe you could argue something like that, like, you know, decades ago, but, like, certainly not now. Do I like Patton as a general? Patton is a complicated figure. Patton was a great general at times, but the thing about Patton is he was a very rude and nasty person. And Patton was that type of guy where soldiers either hated him or loved him. Bro, who was the most evil Nazi? Well, it was Hitler. But if you're not talking about Hitler, it would be Heinrich Himmler. That's what I'm saying without getting too political. Clearly, the tribalism. I think that when it comes to stuff like that, what I'll say is, without getting into the politics, I will say the problem is that people do not want to talk to the other side at all, and they basically think that the other side is evil, and both groups do this. And I remember that last year on Thanksgiving, there was like all these news articles and news stories that were coming out about like family members not inviting their other family members to Thanksgiving because they have different political viewpoints than them, and that's just stupid. And again, this is both sides that are doing it, but that is honestly just really stupid. Doing something like that. Like Thanksgiving is like one of the few times where people are supposed to put their differences aside and just eat together as a family and hang out together as a family. And people doing stuff like that, like not inviting somebody because of their political viewpoints is stupid. That's ridiculous. In the Mafia series, aside from Isabella, I wonder what happened to Valentina and her other son. At least in the game lore, we can assume that Sam may have a strained relationship with Emily. Well, the thing is, Valentina probably died not too long after she came to America because she would not have approved of Sam getting into the Mafia, 100%. Thank you, Mr. 159. And, Sam also had a brother, so I don't know, what happened to his brother. Hey, Pro, do you think university is really worth it? I'm thinking of dropping out. It's too damn difficult. Plus, my parents have this thinking that university is the only way. Well, I will tell you is... It really depends on what you're going to school for. Thank you, Amir Sean, if I'm reading your name correctly. The thing about it is, I don't necessarily think that college is a scam, but I do think that you don't necessarily need it to be successful. That's what I'll say about it. Is me, I went to college, sure, I did, but even though I went to college, everything I learned from college has very little to nothing to do with my success. Almost nothing. Like even when and also, guys, I want to be clear on this. When I talk about history, because people know me a lot for when I talk about my history knowledge. My history knowledge, the majority of it, I did not learn from college. I did not even learn that in high school. There was some good history professors that I remembered that did address some good points, but the vast majority of my knowledge of history, it comes from just reading online. I just read. That's it. And so that's basically what I'll say about it. Is so I like history a lot. I like reading history, but I don't. My history knowledge did not come from college. So like a lot of people think that they think that I got history knowledge from college. No, it was just stuff that I just I read online. I just like to read online. I like interested in topics. I like watching documentaries, stuff like that, and that's where it is. So the thing is that's the beauty of the internet, is that the internet is a tool that that is still fairly recent and still fairly modern. And what I'll say about that is that when you go on the internet, you can really learn how to do anything on the internet. Anything. The vast majority of things you can learn how to do on the internet. I mean, the only thing, I think there are certain things you obviously can't learn on the internet, like you can't learn how to be a doctor, for example. But there are just so many things that you can learn how to do on the internet. Like, for example, me, what I did is when I had an inspection done on my BMW, right? What happened is there was like the parking light malfunction, like the little parking light, went out, and they were gonna charge me like I think it was like $150 or $180 to like switch out a parking light, and I went on YouTube, how to change BMW parking lights, and I found a video. And I changed my parking light out. I looked it up. I opened up, the hood, and there was this little thing you had to unscrew, like a little twist thing, and you take that out and just take out the old parking light, attach it in, and that's it. And you close a little lid thing, and you close your hood, and that's it. It's done. And so that's it. Is that I learned how to do that just by going on a video and looking it up. So there are these there's this misconception that you basically need to learn. You need to college to be successful in life, but in reality it's really not true. It really isn't. There's a lot of things like, and I will tell you, for my rental properties, I have a handyman that comes by my rental properties a lot of time. So like when something breaks, I call up my handyman. He's a good guy, and he'll come on over. He'll fix it, and then I'll pay him. But about my handyman is that he's not just a handyman. He does his handyman thing as a side business. His main business is he inspects homes, and so he has his own business where he inspects homes. He checks roofs, walls, stuff like that. Make sure the plumbing is fine. He's really good and he's really thorough at his job. He didn't go to college. He didn't. And he learned all of this stuff on his own. He opened up his own business. And I asked the guy, I'm like, how did you learn all this stuff? Like, doing all this stuff, fixing all this stuff. And he said to me, growing up, I grew up, didn't have my parents didn't have a lot of money. We weren't, very well off. And we had to learn how to fix things on our own. We couldn't, afford to hire people. And I taught myself how to do a lot of these things. And eventually, that's basically where he took off and started up his business. So that's basically what I'll say about it, is that my personal viewpoint on this is that if you are determined enough, if you are persistent enough, I think that you can be successful without college. Now, you don't have to be a handyman, obviously, but you can do, whatever you want. There are just so many different, things that you can teach yourself how to do and be successful, even become a millionaire without needing to go to college. So that's ultimately what I'll say about that. Hey, I love your contact. What do you think Rockstar will do with GTA 5 online right before GTA 6 comes out? Nothing really. There might Rockstar might do maybe like an event, like 1 month before GTA 6 comes out, and what they might do on that event is they might do like something like where if you log in for like a certain time, you'll get something in GTA 6 online. That's like, they might do it like you unlock like a specific T-shirt, maybe you unlock a specific vehicle in GTA 6. They might do something like that. So like they might do something to like tell people to log in like 1 month before the game comes out on a specific date, and you'll get something in GTA 6 online. But GTA 5 online is not going to be taken down. I'm telling you, the online will not be taken down in this game. This game is still going to be up for this game is still going to be up for a very long time. Even 10 years from now, we're going to be in the 2030s. I think that the online in this game is still going to be up. That's what I'll say about it. Thank you, Carboy, for that super chat. And Amir Shan, I did electric in high school, now a power engineer. So you learned how to do electrical stuff in high school, and you're now a power engineer. Yeah, and if you're making good money and you're happy doing what you're doing, you don't need to go to college then. If you are happy and you enjoy doing what you're doing, and think about it this way, I'm assuming you work for a company as a power engineer, right? You can work for that company for some time, learn more skills working for that company, and then one day leave that company, maybe start up your own company, start up your own business. That's it. So ultimately, do what you want to do, and I'll tell you guys this: I never wanted to go to college. I didn't. My mom actually kind of pushed me to go to college. My mom really made me go to college. Like, she wasn't like really, rude about it, but she was basically just constantly pushing me. You gotta go to college. You gotta go to college. If you don't go to college, you could have a bad job. You could not have a lot of money. You might be poor. Stuff like that. And she wanted it for my best. She was trying to help me. To be fair, she wasn't like trying to make me feel bad. But my mom really pushed me to go to college, and I didn't really want to. And when I was in college, I did fine. I had a 4.0 GPA, but I looking back on it now, was it really worth it? I don't know. I don't think so. I do enjoy like some of the teachers that I had. I really enjoyed their lectures, and I liked certain classes I liked, certain classes I hated. But that was just basically it. I ultimately, at the end of the day, I didn't end up doing what I was even going to college for. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in law enforcement technology. That's what I. Yeah, I know, Brendan. You told me, but that was it. I was gonna work something in the police. I could have even been a correctionals officer. I could have even gotten maybe a job in the FBI with my degree, but I didn't end up doing it. And honestly speaking, I'm actually very blessed that YouTube worked out for me and that YouTube did really well for me, because the amount of BS that you have to deal with in law enforcement, I probably would not want to deal with that crap. I will tell you, one of my best friends, right? We grew up together in New York. He moved to Maine a number of years ago, and he lives in like the woods in the middle of Maine, like just where it's like very very little people live. It's just maybe like a few houses here and there, cabins. It's very wooded area, and he lives in an area that is very low populated. Very low populated. And even though it's such a low populated area, you would think that almost nothing happens and it's just boring, but he has to deal with such BS regularly in his like small town. His small town department is only just a few people, but even there he has to deal with such BS. I'm not talking about like violence, I'm not talking about like gang members shooting at him and stuff like that, but I'm just talking about like he gets called out on such ridiculous things, like such dumb things that he gets called out to, like, you know, somebody's drunk passing out in the middle of the street. You know, some like husband and a wife are in a huge argument at home, the neighbors are calling, he has to go and answer it. You know, ridiculous situations like this. There's a lot of BS that he had to deal with, and I can imagine is that's a small, like, you know, small wooded, you know, area in Maine that he's dealing with. If I worked in like a city like New York, oh my god, I cannot imagine the BS that I would deal with every single day. Like, and that if Maine is that annoying, like that many things to deal with, I cannot imagine what being a cop in like a, you know, a place like New York would be. That is no thank you. So, you know, it saves me a headache. It saves me on my mental health, not having to deal with BS. It also does not put me in danger, so I don't have to, you know, go to my job every single day and worry about my safety. I can, you know, make videos, entertain you guys, and, you know, and still have a good living. And that's ultimately what, you know, what I'm happy about. And maybe I don't have benefits, because when you're a copy of government benefits, but, you know, I'd rather not have the benefits, but at least have peace of mind and not have to deal with the BS. Uh, and if you want to know I one time I asked my friend, what the stupidest call that he got, the stupidest call that he got. There was a guy who walked into a convenience store at night, and the guy who walked into the convenience store, you know what the guy started doing? The guy started screaming at the shopkeeper, and telling him to call the police. And literally, what happened is, when he arrived on scene, and he asked the guy what the problem is, why he's there. You know what the guy who was screaming said to him? The guy said, "I'm drunk. I have nowhere to sleep. Take me to jail." That is the stupidest call that he told me that he got. So just imagine being sent on a call like that. You know that you people, and yes, people are that stupid. They are that stupid. So yeah, people do dumb crap like that. But that is that. I do not want to deal with BS like that. No, I don't have patience to deal with stuff like that. Sup, Pro? Have I ever played Banjo-Kazooie? No, I know the game. It's like an older Xbox 360 game. I know it's a popular game. Read the previous comment, Patrick, concerning Harmon. Let me see. I'm sorry here. Thank you, Bork. Harmon? Uh... Harmon? No, I don't see. Can he post his comment again? I don't see it. Can he post his comment again? Thank you, Edwin Lopez. Hey, Pro, how's it going? Sorry that I kept asking you this, but I'm just wondering if you're still interested in playing the Warriors. Yeah, Set. I gotta watch the movie first before I play the game, because I want to talk about the movie when I play the game, but yeah, I will, I'll play it one day. Bork, can you just tell me what he said? What did he say specifically? And I'll answer it. I'll have the next part of Mafia 3, tomorrow. Should Harmon be cancelled and removed because certain people hate him and he got away with February 2023 controversies? Who's Harmon? Who? Harmon? Who? Remind me? Uh, I want to work as an armored truck guard. I have to try to convince the state to lift my 5150 ban. My argument is that I've done over 1 year of good behavior. Oh, thank you, for the comment, Aiden. I think that eventually you can get it. What do you think is the latest Hitler could have won? The war? The last chance that Hitler really had of winning World War II, or I shouldn't even call it winning World War II. I would say his regime surviving. It would be it would have been in July of 1943, and almost 2 years before the full collapse of Germany. But the Battle of Kursk, the Battle of Kursk is the largest the Battle of Kursk is the largest tank battle in history. It was about a few months after Stalingrad. The Soviets launched a massive offensive against the Germans. Now, if the Germans had defeated the Soviets in Kursk and they just completely wiped them out and destroyed them, they would not have had the resources to conquer the Soviet Union, but they would have maybe had grounds to negotiate some kind of ceasefire or something with the Soviets. That's basically what might have happened. So that's what I'll say about it. Is that maybe like Kursk was like the last chance that the Germans had of like getting some kind of favorable settlement. Wouldn't he won if he didn't invade the USSR? Yeah, I mean, if if Hitler had not invaded it had not invaded the Soviet Union, he would have just fought against Britain, and then Britain would have been isolated even longer. Maybe Britain would have eventually wanted a peace settlement. We don't know. There's all these what ifs, but the thing is, the British had a reason. The Germans had actually offered the British peace terms during World War II early on, and the British rejected them. Well, the reason that the British rejected them is because they knew that Hitler wasn't going to stop. Because literally, Hitler had broken every single treaty and agreement that he made with other countries, and who's to say he wasn't going to break that agreement? So literally, is signing an agreement with the Nazis is like one of the stupidest things that you can do, because they've literally broken every single agreement. Oh, it's taking me the long way around. Okay. Don't ask but what I call Darman. Oh, alright. When you say the Darman controversies, Darman, I remember that guy. Darman is like the guy who like does those lesson videos, those like life lesson videos, right? He uploads like those little short stories, like videos, like where somebody's like getting bullied or something like that, and then they become like yeah, they're bullied, and then like they become more successful like over the years, stuff like that, like life lessons basically. I know who you're talking about. But about Darman is he had controversies where he was not paying his employees, right? That's what it was. That's kind of ironic, because he did so many videos about like bad bosses and like greedy bosses, and yet he wasn't even paying his employees himself. But should he get canceled? I don't know the full extent of the situation. That I don't know. I guess that would be up to his employees. If his employees forgive him and he makes proper restitution to them, then maybe. But I don't know the full situation, so I don't know everything that he's involved in. I don't know what's going on, so I don't know. The only thing I know is he was accused of like not paying his employees, but that's I don't know how bad the situation is, so that would have to look into that. So should he be gone from YouTube? I don't know. I don't know how bad the situation is. Like I would have to Google it and look up exactly what was going on. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I think it should be up to his employees. I guess they decide. But I don't know. So I don't know. Like, can somebody tell me, like, in the chat, was he like was how bad was the situation that he was involved in? Like what did he do exactly? Because I don't know. Like I can't tell you what, like, what should happen if I don't know the full details of the situation. Darman also collaborates with YouTubers like Sniper Wolf, who went to Jack's films home and posted it on her social media to thousands of people. Yeah, I remember that situation. Is that she was that YouTuber that like, or that Twitch streamer that like posted that guy's house? She doxed the guy. I remember that thing. That happened a number of years ago. I remember that when that happened too. Yeah. Indie games in the channel one keep on being you. Thank you, Noah. Last time I played an indie game was like actually Halloween last year. Yeah. It was Halloween last year. I could think of something to play again, Noah. Can I do a playthrough Dying Light the Beast? I have to do a playthrough of the other Dying Light games one day. First. Not really, Dylan. I don't, talk much about my personal life there. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you, Corey. Hey, Patrick, I just wanted to know, will you be playing the new Black Ops 7 when it comes out? Also, my favorite Red Dead character is Red Harlow. Who's yours? Favorite Red Dead character? Probably Arthur then, yeah. I'd say Arthur. I've always... I also like Jack a lot. I know people dislike Jack, but I did like him playing as him in Red Dead Redemption 2. I missed a super chat from Corey. I just read Corey's super chat. Oh, thank you, Corey. To be fair, the actors signed the paper and know how much they're gonna get paid this much. Well, if that's the case, and they've if Darman's employees signed an agreement with him, and they knew how much they were gonna get paid, then at that point, there's something illegal that was done there. It might be scummy, you can make the argument that it's scummy, paying people a certain amount of money, but there's nothing really necessarily illegal then. If that was what the contract said, and the contract said, you're gonna get paid this much, and they still agreed, then at that point, that is, yeah, that's what I would say about that. And at that point, there's nothing illegal there. Which one? Franklin D. Roosevelt? I have beaten all of GTA 3 with only one mission fail, and it's because Ray got killed. I didn't die or get busted once. I'm off to GTA Vice City now. You mean Ray Machowski? Ray Machowski in GTA 3. The draft hasn't been in effect since Nixon was president. Well, the draft would go into effect if there was a world war. If there was, it would, thank you, Somebody32, for sponsoring my channel for over a year. Thank you, Samuel. Are you going to do Medal of Honor PS1 in the future? Yeah, I played the Medal of Honor PS1 games. Well, the trick is to go through the subway of Ray. That's the trick to basically get around the police. Thank you, Robbie, for the super chat. Hi, Pro. Hope you're doing well. Will I ever play Red Dead Redemption 2? Yeah, I'll do a playthrough of it again in the future. Have I ever gotten a mission fail in GTA from some dumb glitch or bug? Well, when I played GTA 4, I got blown up by Pegorino's RPG. You know how Pegorino fires the RPG at you in the boat? I actually got blown up by that. I don't know how that happened, but I got blown on it. Yeah, so I got blown up by it. You can pray on the way up. Yeah, that's Lincoln's line, Mafia 3. Pegorino was stupid, yeah. Remember the San Andreas Definitive Edition when he got thrown off the pier onto the island? Oh, how could I forget that, right? The GTA Definitive Edition glitches, yeah. I forgot about that. I don't know how I didn't think about that, but the GTA Definitive Edition, oh my god, yeah, the amount of glitches I encountered in that was Also, he stated that it's up to the production team, not physically him. Not defending him, by the way. Okay, Nikki. Now, I gotta research this Darman controversy, because I know people have asked me about him before. I've seen his videos years ago, but I haven't watched him in a long time. But I gotta research him. How brutal was the American Civil War and why? The American Civil War is the worst time period in American history. It is the worst one. People think that it's World War II, but World War II is the worst time period in history for Asia and Europe. When it comes to America, though, from America's perspective, the worst time period in history is the Civil War. The country got completely ripped in half. You know, families were fighting each other. On top of that, is 700,000 people died in the Civil War. 700,000 Americans. And if you want to know how crazy the Civil War casualties were, more Americans died in the Civil War than they died in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, the Revolutionary War, and the War of 1812 combined. Just think about that in the Civil War alone. That is how bad the losses were in the Civil War. And if you want to know how many people died in the Civil War, the amount of people that died in the Civil War is roughly the same population of Las Vegas. So imagine every single person in Las Vegas dying. That's how many people died in the Civil War. There was also the New York draft riots. Yeah, and the New York draft riots, I know they appear in gangs of New York. The New York draft riots are the second worst event in New York's history. That was such a bad time. Hey Patrick, how are you, man? I'm good, Eric. How are you? Nice outfit, thank you. Did I see Dan Houser IGN interview? It was so bad. No, I didn't. What happened? Thank you, Zombie Fanatic, for the super chat. I wish PS5 had backwards compatibility, yeah. Like Xbox. Pro, I have a question about Friday's stream. When you said there will be wars against colonized Mars and Earth, you didn't account for the fact that Mars is not sustainable without Earth. Please read. Actually, it's going to get to the point where they would be sustainable without Earth, yes. You gotta remember, that's what people said about America. People said that America would not be sustainable without Britain. That it would fail without Britain. And look at what ended up happening. The British government had said that when America became an independent country, that they will beg to join Britain back within the next 20 years. It never happened. So that was, they underestimated how much, America would actually succeed as a country. I'll give you a rent when he fixes his damn door. Would I ever live on another planet if it's possible, of course? I don't know. It seems weird, and by the time we can live on other planets, if I'm gonna be alive, I'm gonna be in my, 90s. And I don't think I'm gonna be in any shape to live on another planet at that point.
This is Mason at Los Santos. Welcome.
Hopefully by 90 it will be the new 40. Maybe there's some speculation that in the future they'll be able to increase people's lifespan, but I don't know if that's ever gonna happen.
Okay.
Do I think steroids should be legal in the U.S.? Well, steroids aren't as bad as like heroin or crack, but they still like cause problems. Thank you, David, for the super chat. I don't know. Maybe it should be up to the people if they want to do that in a referendum. But I will say this is that steroids do have mass negative effects. What steroids do is steroids cause aggression in people. They also have a higher risk of cancer. And the thing about steroids is steroids are not they're not a healthy way to gain muscle. They aren't. When somebody gains muscle through steroids, they need to constantly keep taking steroids. They cannot keep that muscle mass without the steroids. So that's the thing about that. And so steroids change people's personalities. They just cause mass aggression in people. They're not good. Thank you, David, for the super chat. What Call of Duty campaign do I recommend starting? Well, why don't you play through the original Modern Warfare games? Like, Modern Warfare 1 through 3. They're actually really good stories. Brucey had roid rage in GTA 4. Yes, he did. You're right. You can overdose on steroids, keeping the muscle mass. Yeah, that is true. Did you say that getting ripped regardless is unhealthy? Yeah, yeah, that's the thing about that, is that if somebody is ripped, that's not necessarily healthy. People think that is healthy. It's not. Now, being ripped is definitely better than, being, overweight, being obese. It's definitely better than that. But the thing is, people that are ripped have almost little to no body fat. Almost little to none. And that is, they're constantly on this, like, crazy diet. Constantly on this crazy diet. They're constantly working out. They're constantly burning calories. I could not live like that. I couldn't. I can't do stuff like that. Sure, I'd like to be muscular, but I don't want to be to the point where, like, that. Like, I'm ripped and I have, like, almost no body fat. Like, that is, and the thing is, one of my friends, he works in, he's one of my friends I know online, but I'm trying to remember what he studied specifically. He studied something regarding, like, human health and body. He's not like a doctor. I think he's like a nutritionist. I think that's what he is. But he told me that people that are ripped have a higher chance of having a heart attack. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but he just told me that it's not unhealthy. It's unhealthy to have almost no body fat, and that people that are apparently ripped have, like, a higher chance of having a heart attack. I don't know how true that is, but I can only assume that if somebody has almost no body fat, then yeah, I would basically say that. And the thing is body fat, people think that body fat is necessarily, like, a bad thing. It's not. Having too much body fat is bad. That is bad. But what body fat basically does is it gives you nutrients when you're hungry. That's what it does. So when somebody gets hungry and they don't have anything to eat, the body will start eating the body fat. That's basically what it will do, is it will use the body fat as nutrients. That's why people lose weight really quickly. Like, they go on these fasting where they don't, the people do these crazy workouts to, like, lose weight. Like, a lot of times they'll fast for, like, a long time. It's because of that. But that's what I'll say, is that body fat does have, purpose to it. And everyone takes steroids, wrestlers, baseball players, football players, like anybody who is any kind of sport, bodybuilding activity, boxing, anything like that, anything that requires physical activity that people are famous for, they take steroids. Even celebrities take steroids. Even people that are just, they don't necessarily are like bodybuilders, but they're like actors. So it's like, literally is like, so many people take that garbage. Oh, I didn't know that, Cole. What, Brian? What's your question? Now, what do you mean by that, Adrian? Soccer players aren't allowed to take steroids. Well, most sports, they're not allowed to. They're checked for it. What your friend told you is true. Oh, okay. Why do some boxers get busted for steroids when everyone takes it? Not saying it's untrue, just curious. Well, I'm not saying everyone takes it, but when I said everyone, I'm more talking about like that, like every single profession, anything requiring physical activity, anything famous, people have, you know, there's been so many cases of people taking it. But it's not fair to the other players. It's not fair to the other contestants. If somebody's taking steroids, it's not fair to the other, you know, people. I think, and also here's the crazy thing about this, guys, and this is what's so crazy about this story. Not just celebrities and sports people, you know, sports players aren't the only people who have tried to cheat with steroids. Do you know who else has tried to cheat with steroids? You guys won't believe this. Can anyone guess? It wasn't just, you know, sports players. You know who else tried to cheat with steroids? You would not believe this. Hey Pro, there's a scene in The Sopranos where governments, yes, governments have tried to cheat with steroids before too. There have been a few cases of countries that have used steroids before for their players, but do you know what the most famous country I know that has been accused of that is Russia. And Russia, their players were like accused of using steroids, or it was some kind of other drug. It was steroids or something else. It was like something unhealthy that would give the players like some kind of, you know, massive physical advantage. That's why Russia has been banned from so many sports. Like if you look at so many international sports, if you just look at Russia, the Russian team has gotten banned. The reason for that was because so many of the Russian players, they were tested and they had like all these drugs in their system that gave them like, you know, massive advantages. And at that point, basically, so many, you know, competitions were saying we can't even invite the Russian team because they're going to cheat again. So that was basically about that, is that the Russian, you know, government would constantly experiment with all these different drugs, steroids, and all this stuff, and give their, you know, players all these, you know, crazy things that would give them a huge advantage, and it just was not fair to the other players. Wasn't North Korea accused of using steroids? That I don't know, but I wouldn't be sure if they I wouldn't be surprised they were. I think MMA people have less chance of heart attacks, maybe because they have a lot of physical activity, but I don't know also fully on that. Thank you, Suspect 13. And thank you, Mr. 159. Have I seen the 1995 movie Casino, which starred Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Frank Vincent? It's about the Chicago Outfits activities in Las Vegas in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, that's Al Capone's Mafia. I have not seen the movie. I know it's with Robert De Niro. I know the movie. I think it's Alex Rothstein. That's who the character that he plays, right? Join Green's MC? Okay, let me join it here. But yeah, I gotta watch that one day. I've seen Goodfellas, but I've never seen that one. That one I've never seen, because Casino I gotta check out one day. Thank you, Mr. 159. There are weird people in retail. Hey, Pro, there's a scene in The Sopranos where E. Ponte Corvo, I think it was, like, kills a guy in a pizza shop. Why does he leave the gun at the scene? Wouldn't E want to bring the gun with him so that the police can't trace it? Oh, that. Yes. So I know what you're talking about. I know this scene that you're talking about. I don't know if it's necessarily like a pizza place. I think it's more like a fast food place, but I remember it was the guy was like having like a hamburger, right? And then Eugene just walks in and says like Freddy or something like that, and then he says like, hey, he moves his hand out like he's gonna shake it, and then Eugene just, you know, pops and shoots him like, you know, twice, and then just walks out and drops the gun. But here's the thing is that's not the only place where they actually drop the gun. If you watch the part where it's the other scene, Rusty, where Rusty Milo gets killed. When Rusty Milo gets killed by those 2 Italian hitmen, they drop the gun. They leave the gun there, and that's actually not not an unheard of thing. They actually criminals actually have done that. Hitmen have done that, where they drop the gun. Now you would think that that's a stupid thing for them to do, to drop the gun. The reason that they actually drop the gun is because they're not worried about fingerprints, and the reason they're not worried about fingerprints is because they don't have any they're very careful. They're using gloves, and they're even careful to load all the bullets with all the bullet casings and everything like that with gloves also, so that makes sure that they're, because that's one thing that criminals are really stupid with, is a lot of times what criminals will do is they'll wear gloves, but they won't wear gloves when they're loading the bullets in the gun, and they'll fire the gun, and then the casings will be found, and their fingerprints will be on the casings, and so they don't think about that. But the reason that the hitmen are dropping the gun is because those two Italian guys who killed Rusty Milo, for example, those two Italian guys, they were from Italy, so they had no record of them being in America. So they would not be fingerprinted. So even if the government ran their fingerprints, it would come up as unknown. They wouldn't know who those people were. Second thing is that the main reason that the hitmen drop the gun, like when Eugene kills that guy, the reason he drops the gun is because they don't want to be caught with the gun. That's why. That's primarily it. So if the police pull them over, like a mile from the scene, for example, and they search them and they find the gun on them, they can trace them and link them directly to that murder. But if the police pull them over like a mile from the scene and they have no gun on them, the police don't really have a case. The police can't the police have circumstantial evidence that Eugene, for example, was around the area, he was around the area where this guy got killed, but they don't have direct proof that it was him. And so if they had the gun, if Eugene had the gun on him, that would basically be the smoking, gun at that point. That would basically be it, is he would be, there would be concrete proof that he did it, but because he doesn't have the gun on him and there's no fingerprints again, he's not worried about it. And what they've done is they've scratched the serial numbers off these guns too, so the police have really no way of tracing these guns too. So that's ultimately why they dropped the gun, is that they don't want to be caught with it. That's the ultimate reason. And also, if you're wondering, another thing is if you notice about the hitmen, for example, like the hitmen in the Sopranos, none of the hitmen wear masks. Have you noticed that? None of the hitmen actually wear masks. Eugene doesn't wear a mask. The Italian hitmen don't wear a mask. I know the guy who oh man, I forget the guy. The Lupertazzi guy who has the crazy haircut. I forget the guy's name. He gets killed when he's eating with Silvio. That guy too. That hitman was only wearing a hat. So the hitmen really don't wear masks. The reason the hitmen don't wear masks is because, for one, when that gun is going off, nobody is going to look at the person's face. So the second that people hear the gun going off, nobody is going to be looking at the killer's face. People are going to get on the ground, and the only thing they're going to be caring about is surviving and coming back to their families. They're not going to be looking to try to find the killer's face. So that's why they don't wear a mask during those hits. Yeah, that's ultimately what I'll say. And also, when witnesses find out that a case is Mafia linked, they are not going to testify. That's the thing about it. When you had that scene in The Sopranos where that guy witnessed Tony killing Matt Bevilacqua, and he wanted to testify against him, the police broke the law. They did, because they lied to the guy about the case. They said that the case had nothing to do with the Mafia when it did, because they were just trying to get the guy to testify. But they can't. They can't do something like that. Why is he being voted to kick a skull? But yeah, that's ultimately it. Is that nobody's gonna want to testify against the Mafia, and the other thing is that they don't want to be caught with a gun. So that's basically the backstory on it, Balkan. Jerry, that was the guy. That was the guy I was talking about. The comment about the IGN interview? No, can you post a comment again? The IGN interviewer didn't ask Dan Houser that most GTA fans ponder about, such as Agent and why it was canceled, and he didn't think about the canceled GTA 5 story DLCs. He asked about Bully 2, though. Oh, that's it? Do you think that Tony would be able to stop Carlo from testifying? Not really. The reason that Tony wouldn't be able to stop Carlo from testifying is the people who testify against the Mafia most of the time are former Mafia members. They are not witnesses. So a lot of times nobody wants to be a witness. And I mean think about it this way. Imagine that you were at a public place, right? God forbid, and you saw a Mafia, a made man, go and kill somebody in a restaurant. You just you saw his face. The guy shot the guy in front of you. Would you really want to be that guy testifying against them? Would you? I know that some people would be yeah, I'll do it. But, the majority of people, do you really want to be that guy testifying? Majority of people are going to be no. Hell no. So that's basically, you're going to have to live in fear for the rest of your life, basically. That's it. And that's the thing is, I got called up for jury duty a few times in New York, And like and when I was called up for jury duty, I was like praying. I was like, please don't let it be a mafia case. Please don't, because I do not want like a mafia case. I didn't end up going to jury duty. I didn't even get selected in the end. But I was like, that's what I was basically thinking in the back of my mind. It's like, please don't be a mafia case. Just please don't be a mafia case. Like that's it. But yeah, that's just like nobody wants to be in a jury for a mafia case, and nobody wants to testify against the mafia too. They don't want to do that. The people that, like I said, the people that testify against the mafia are oftentimes former mafia guys, and the reason that they're testifying against the mafia is because it's that, or they're going to prison for a very long time. In Carlo's case, it was like his son got arrested for like drugs, and the police probably threw some like other charges against him, and so Carlo basically, chose his son over the family. That's ultimately what it was about. So Tony is not going to be able to stop Carlo from testifying, and also Carlo is a hitman for the family. Carlo has killed people for the Soprano family before, so Carlo knows how to hide from the family. He knows the family's ins and outs, how they look for people. So while Carlo might have some paranoia, Tony's not gonna be able to find him. He won't be able to find him. Who was a worse person, Richie Aprile or Ralph Cifaretto? That's a tough one. Who's worse, Richie or Ralph? I'd say Ralph ultimately, because as bad as Richie was, Richie didn't kill a pregnant woman. Bobby and Eugene intimidating the jury members was pretty scary. Yeah, that's the thing about that is yeah, I remember what he does. He buys the candy bar for him, and he says, "We know you'll do the right thing." That's what he says, to him. And the thing is about that is Eugene was very smart in how he scared the jury members, because there was no case there whatsoever, because the way that Eugene said that to him, Eugene like bought him a candy bar. Like the guy was trying to buy like candy for his kids, and then Eugene was the one who bought the candy for his kids. And he says like we know that you'll do the right thing. Like when he says stuff like that can be interpreted in any way. But we as the viewer and the witness also knows. He's basically scaring him. He's basically telling him, you better say not guilty or you're dead. That's basically what he's saying. But even if Eugene was arrested for that, there's no case. Because Eugene could just basically say, oh, I was just trying to be nice to the guy and stuff like that. There's no case there, so that's why he framed it like that. Don Rickles is in the movie Casino too. I gotta watch that one. Thank you, Christine. I gotta watch it. I think my favorite Robert De Niro movie is probably Bronx Tale. I think Bronx Tale is probably his best one in my opinion. Because all of the other movies that Robert De Niro plays in, he usually plays as an evil person, like evil or a bad guy in most of the movies that he plays in. But Bronx Tale was like one of the ones where he plays like a good, honorable guy, and Bronx Tale was I think a good one because Bronx Tale gave you life lessons, where the other movies were just mafia movies. Bronx Tale gave you specific life lessons, and I think that's why it was probably his best movie. Hey Pro, hope you're well. News last week that Forza Horizon 6 will be coming out in 2026. I know that you aren't a huge fan of racing games, but Forza Horizon is an open world racing game. Would you do a playthrough on there? Is there like a story? How does that work exactly? Is it like a story like Midnight Club? Thank you, Thomas Walsh, for the super chat. Well, I feel bad for the child in that case, Adrian, because the child isn't responsible for the type of person their parents are, but... Do you watch any sort of YouTube videos in your free time? When I watch YouTube videos, I'll either watch historical videos, like history ones, or I will, I'll watch those, like, Reddit story videos. Like, when I go to the gym and I work out, I'll listen to those ridiculous like story videos because I'm just bored. Like the malicious compliance ones where they're like people are talking about they screwed over their boss because their boss was like an asshole and stuff like that, or like pro revenge stories, like stuff like that. Basically, I'll listen to those. Some of those stories are very entertaining to listen to. So I'll just put on like earphones, working out, and just listening to that stuff. Oh yeah, the I don't work here lady. There's the entitled Karens, yeah, stories, yeah. Well, Tino is basically what would happen is if you put Sonny Corleone and Michael Corleone together, you get Tino from Mafia, the old country. Basically, Sonny Corleone and Michael Corleone in one person. Top 3 best Cold War presidents. I think the best Cold War president was probably Truman, because Truman did not give crap to the Soviets at all. Like, he did not tolerate them at all. Like, Truman was the most aggressive towards the Soviets, so I think he was probably the best one. I have to think. Thank you, Tyrell, for subscribing. Thank you, dude. The other ones, I'd like to say JFK, but JFK did not, get to serve his full term, and JFK made mistakes too. Um, Eisenhower was decent. I would say Eisenhower was good. Uh,
For real?
and and Reagan is a very tough one for me. The reason that Reagan is a really tough one is because Reagan did a lot of bad things, but he did help bankrupt the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union went bankrupt primarily because of Reagan. It was Reagan's policies that made them go bankrupt. And so, him making the Soviet Union go bankrupt, that was probably his biggest accomplishment.
We set.
Were viewers supposed to feel sorry for Jackie Jr.? Not really, no. He brought it on himself. It was like Jackie Jr. was probably the stupidest character in the Sopranos. And the thing about Jackie Jr. is he was even stupider than I would say Matt Bevilacqua and Sean. He was even dumber than them. The reason that Jackie Jr. was so stupid was because Jackie Jr. had everything lined up for him. He had everything lined up for success, and he just threw it all away, and he was an idiot. That's ultimately about it, is that he's just impatient, he was stupid, and he paid the price. Taxi Driver was one where Robert plays a Marine veteran and night driver who goes through insomnia and loneliness. I'm sure you'd like it. Isn't that a movie where he's like a vigilante, where he's killing bad people? Isn't that the movie? I know Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter was also a really good movie he played in too. Yeah, there's that one. What's the difference between a repeater and a rifle? Well, repeaters are really rifles. A rifle is any kind of gun that has rifling in the barrel. That's what makes a rifle. So a rifle can be single shot, it can be bolt action, it can be semi-automatic, it can be automatic. It can be a repeater. A rifle can even be pump action too. So really, a rifle is any kind of gun that is that has rifling, grooves in the barrel. That's basically what a rifle is. So even during the times of the Revolutionary War, there was rifles. You know, the Kentucky long rifle is a perfect example of a rifle. It is. That's what a rifle was. I gotta think of something to play for Halloween. I don't know yet. I'm gonna think of something to play for Halloween, but when I do play it, it'll be good. So I'll play something good for Halloween. Pizza crisis in California in the 1970s? What the hell is the pizza crisis in California? It's the first time I'm hearing about it. Who's worse, Imperial Japan, Fascist Italy, Soviet Union, or Nazi Germany? Well, it depends. First of all, when you're adding the Soviet Union in there, you would have to talk about the time period the Soviet Union is in. Like if you say the Soviet Union in like the 80s, the Soviet Union in the 80s would be the least, worst one of all of them. But when you say the Soviet Union, I'll talk to him, Skull. But when you say the Soviet Union, I'm assuming you mean Stalin's Soviet Union. I'm assuming that's what you mean. When people say the Soviet Union, they usually talk about Stalin. I will say, I don't. Fascist Italy was very brutal. They killed the least amount, compared to the other three, but they were still, very brutal. But honestly, I don't know. If you had to ask me, who's the worst, Nazi Germany, the Soviet Union, or Imperial Japan, I honestly don't know, because they are just all of them had killed millions of people. They were all just really brutal, regimes. So I don't know, honestly. I don't think I can answer a question like that. Is that new Vampire games like good? I know they're making more games. I gotta play those one day. Please be Resident Evil 1.2.3 PS1 for Halloween. Thank you, Samuel, for the super chat. Yes, that is true. Fascist Italy did use chemical weapons when they invaded Ethiopia. I thank you, Samuel, for the super chat. Samuel, what I might do for Halloween this year, what I might do is I might play Left 4 Dead. That's what I might do this year for Halloween. Maybe we'll do Left 4 Dead. Hey, Genie, how are you, dude? It's going good. Would World War II have started even if Hitler never came to power? If Hitler never came to power, Japan still would have attacked China, so that still would have happened. That had no effect on that. But, the war obviously would have been a lot, less big if Hitler hadn't come to power. It probably wouldn't have been a world war. But, yeah, Hitler made it a world war. Kona? Is Kona like a horror game? Do you watch Am I the Jerk? Oh, those videos were... Am I... Yeah, like those story videos, right? I've seen some of those before, too, yeah. Chicago or New York City's most ruthless gang? If you're talking about the most ruthless gang in Chicago, it'd probably be the Crips. Probably the Crips are probably the most ruthless gang in Chicago. New York, the most ruthless gang in New York, MS-13. Yeah, MS-13. They do Mario Salvatrucha 13. They do exist in New York. They don't. They're actually MS-13 is actually more active on Long Island than they are in New York City, Brentwood specifically. But yes, Maria Salvatruce 13, very evil, very evil gang. Those guys are very bad people.
So,
You sent me another comment, zombie? Zombie, can you please post your comment again? I can't find it. Can you just post a comment again, please? How different are the battle dynamics from the Great War, the Second World War, and a future Third World War? Well, the main difference between World War I and World War II is that World War I was primarily an infantry war. You did have, like, tanks and planes, but it was primarily an infantry war in World War I. World War II was a mechanized war. It was mechanized warfare. It was, tanks, planes, it was large-scale bombings. So that was what it was. Like, you had bombings in World War I, but not to the scale that you had in World War II. In World War II, you could have, like, hundreds of planes fly over, like, a single city and just bomb it and level it. So, like, that's the big difference between World War I and World War II, is World War I from a primarily infantry war to a mechanized, warfare war. When it comes to World War III, I don't even want to talk about these hypotheticals, but what I'll say about it is it's drone warfare. That's what a lot of, modern warfare is. It is drone warfare. The thing about it is, I never in my life imagined that tanks would become obsolete. Like, I never imagined that. But at this point, all these weapons that can destroy tanks so easily, you have to be wondering if tanks are obsolete at this point. There's all these, there can be a drone that can be made for a few $100s that can take out $1 million tank, basically, now. So that's what I'll say about that. I do want to do Black Ops 2 before Black Ops 7 comes out. Yes, that I do want to do. Yeah, naval warfare in World War II. You're right, yeah. Yeah, well, that's what Tino is basically like Michael Corleone and Sonny Corleone put together. I don't really know a lot of the other bosses menacing. I know that Al Capone's bodyguard ended up becoming a boss, but Al Capone was probably their best boss. What do I think about Roblox? I don't really play the game. I know Roblox is a very popular game, but I don't really play it. I think the US military released a manual for the M1 Abrams crew on how to shoot at drones with their guns, MG, or cannon. Huh. Would I ever consider running for president? No. And the reason for that is because I don't want my life ruined. I could never have privacy again. And that's what people don't understand, is that here's the thing is, when you become a president, your personal life is over. People don't know that. But even when you stop becoming a president, your life is never going to be the same again, because every single former president, has Secret Service guards that are assigned to him and protect him. So even if you haven't been president for 30 years, you still have Secret Service guards that protect you. And they can never leave you. They have to be with you. You never have any privacy. You never have time to yourself. And on top of that, when you become a president, you can never drive again. People don't know that. People don't know that, but that's true. When you become president, you can never drive a car again. You will never be allowed to drive a car. The Secret Service don't let you. Even when you stop being president, even if you are just personally at your home, you cannot drive a car anymore. There have been, like, a few cases where you've seen, like, presidents behind the wheel in, like, a car, but that's rare, and it was just mostly for show. presidents are not allowed to drive. So basically, if you say, I want to go to the store and something like that, the Secret Service is not going to let you drive. You cannot drive anywhere. They will drive you everywhere. So that's basically what I'll say about that, is that people don't realize that, when you stop being president, your personal life is pretty much over at that point. And the other thing is, the other reason I would not want to be president is because if I was president, honestly, I think that the CIA would want to assassinate me, or they would they would just try to find some stupid scandal to get rid of me. Because I would put in a lot of policies that a lot of these people in DC would not like, and I think they would really hate me for that, really, really badly. Truman and Churchill never got along with Stalin, but FDR did. Why? The reason that FDR got more along with Stalin is because FDR basically gave Stalin whatever he wanted. He didn't argue with him. Did I grow up watching Mr. Bean? The comedian, right? I've seen some of his stuff. I'll be playing Ghost of Yote, yeah. Honestly, I think that the CIA has outlived its, its uses. I think that it should be disbanded as an agency. I don't think that I don't think the CIA should exist anymore. I don't think it should. There's really no reason for it to exist anymore. The CIA was primarily during the Cold War, but there's really no reason. And the thing about that is that if the CIA became abolished, right? Like a president abolished the CIA, there would be so many countries in the world that would appreciate America much more and would have a better relationship with America if the CIA was abolished. Because the thing about this is the entire world knows what the CIA is. Pretty much everybody in every country knows what the CIA is, and the CIA is not known as a good organization around the world. The majority of the world hates the CIA. So that's what I'll say about that. The CIA CIA should be abolished. The ATF should be abolished. I think the IRS should be abolished too. I think the IRS is corrupt. So, literally, if I was president, I would abolish so many government agencies, but I think that the people in D.C. would hate me, and I think, they would assassinate me or something like that. They would send the CIA after me. That's what I think would happen, so no, I don't want to be president. The DEA? No, I would keep the DEA if I was president. The thing about the DEA is there's a really big misconception about the DEA. People think that the DEA sells deals with the cartels and they help the cartels. That is not true. It was the CIA who did that. The CIA did that. The CIA were the ones who worked with the cartels. It wasn't really the DEA. The DEA are mostly good people. If you watch Breaking Bad, the DEA are mostly people like Hank. That's mostly who they are like. They're not bad people. I know people who worked in the DEA. I've known professors who worked in the DEA when I studied in college. And the thing about the DEA is that the DEA hate the CIA. That's what people don't know. So I see these comments where people say that the DEA works with the cartels, but there's no proof behind that. The CIA does it, and they hate the CIA. The reason that the DEA hates the CIA, my teacher told us about it. He was a former DEA agent. He told us that the reason he hates the CIA is because what happened is the CIA would constantly come into their offices and they would demand all information about some cartel suspect or somebody that they're going after. So if the DEA are going after somebody, the CIA would basically demand all information, and the DEA had to give that to them. They didn't have a choice, they had to. But when the CIA had some information that the DEA needed, and the DEA went to the CIA, they would never share any intel, they would never help the DEA whatsoever. So the CIA was that hated agency because they would constantly interfere in other agencies, they would constantly demand their help, they had to help, but then they would never help anybody else. So that's honestly why other agencies really hate them. So no, I think the DEA is generally a good thing because they're trying to stop these scummy cartels. The problem is the CIA. It's not the DEA. The problem is the CIA. They're the ones who have worked with the cartels, and they're the ones who have caused a lot of these issues that are going on. Well, the FBI focuses on high-profile cases and terrorism, where the DEA focuses on drug crimes. I think that it's better to separate them, because it makes it easier to investigate the different crimes. How does the Soviet Union do propaganda? Well, the Soviet Union's propaganda was about the collective. It was about the common good. That was what their entire propaganda was like. They would oftentimes say, like, if you don't want to, if you don't work hard, you are, hurting your fellow workers. Or if you, care about money, you are hurting your fellow workers. Stuff like that. It was all about the collective. That's what their propaganda was like. How about the EPA? I don't know as much about them as, like, the DEA and stuff. I know they're the Environmental Protection Agency. Do I think the FBI is a better agency than the CIA? Oh, yeah. The FBI has done bad things. Yes, they've done stupid crap, but it's not on the same level as the CIA. The CIA have done the worst. Like the FBI hasn't overthrown, governments. The CIA has. The most evil Fargo villain is Lord Malvo. Yeah, Malvo is scary, and Malvo is a perfect example of a psychopath. Malvo is absolutely terrifying. What do the CIA actually do these days? Get involved in other countries' affairs, spy on other governments, arm dangerous rebels. The CIA, for example, were the CIA were people that were oftentimes helping a lot of these terrorists in Syria. They did. So a lot of people don't know that the CIA armed terrorists in Syria. They did. And there was this one story that I remember. It came out like a long time ago. It came out like a number of years ago. But have you guys ever noticed that ISIS constantly drive around in Toyota pickup trucks? Have you noticed that they constantly use Toyota cars? There's a reason for that. There was this story that came out a couple of years ago, and this story was from Russia Today. And I know Russia Today is kind of propaganda that's biased. It's the Russian government's thing. But what they were saying in that story wasn't necessarily false. What they basically said in that story was that the CIA did a program where they gave moderate rebels in Syria, like, hundreds of Toyota trucks. And then after they gave those rebels hundreds of Toyota trucks to use, what happened is you saw, like, all these videos of, like, ISIS driving around with, Toyota technical pickup trucks with machine guns on the back. And when you look at those videos of, like, terrorists in Syria, and they had, like, stingers and, like, javelins and stuff like that, and you're wondering, where did they get this stuff from? It was the CIA that was giving them that stuff. And that was the thing about the CIA, is that if the CIA don't like somebody, they will basically do everything they can to remove that person, including, like, supporting, like, terrorist groups. So that's what I'll say about them, is that the CIA has just done such bad things and a lot of stupid crap. What other organization has the KGB supplied? Well, the KGB did the same thing the CIA did. It was just a Soviet version. They supported a lot of dangerous rebel groups, a lot of times communist rebel groups, all across the world. The CIA also supported the Viet Cong. The KGB armed the Viet Cong. And the Viet Cong are a terrorist group, so the Soviets did arm a bunch of dangerous groups as well. Does the KGB still exist, or are they gone? They exist in Belarus. Belarus's official secret service is called the KGB, but in Russia they're called the FSB today. Let me see here. Zombie. Zombie, I don't see your comment again. Can you post it one more time? I'll look for it, please. I don't see it. They should start using cyber trucks. Okay, Balkan. Well, Nepal had a really corrupt communist government. And people abolished it, but I'm really curious what's going to happen next. What the what the new government is going to be like in Nepal.
And we have a sick.
They elected a president through Discord? What? Well, that I didn't hear. Does no IRS mean no more taxes? Well... let me... Brandon, can we, and I'll talk to him, Skull, also. Brandon, can you please, Brandon, can you invite me to your heist, then? I guess we'll do your heist then, Brandon. Let's do it. Here's what I will say about the IRS. You're asking me if does abolishing the IRS mean abolishing taxes? I don't think the IRS should exist. I think it should be abolished. The reason that I think the IRS should be abolished is because the IRS is like a mafia. It's like a legal mafia. That's pretty much what the IRS is. I'm waiting for Brandon's invite. Here's the thing about the IRS. The IRS does not really target, rich people. And when I say rich people, the IRS might target somebody that's like a millionaire, yeah, but they almost never target people who are billionaires. Like people who are like super rich, we're talking like billions of dollars. The IRS never targets them. When the IRS is targeting somebody, it's usually lower millionaires, or it is lower class people. That is specifically the people that the IRS is oftentimes targeting. And basically, I think that the solution is to abolish the income tax, the federal income tax, because then the IRS does not have a purpose. The IRS basically checks people for income tax fraud. That's basically their whole purpose. And if there is no income tax, the IRS really has no reason to exist. Now, the problem with the income tax in America specifically, I remember I saw a video on YouTube from there was this YouTuber, and I don't remember the YouTuber's name, but he uploaded like a really funny video. And the really funny video is he basically goes to the government and he asks the government, hey, can you tell me how much I owe? And the government says, that's for you to tell us. And he's like, what? And then the government says, oh yeah, you're supposed to tell us how much you're supposed to pay us. And he's like, well, what if I make what if I don't know? What if I make a mistake? And then the government person says, oh, we'll know if you make a mistake. And then he says, so can't you tell me how much I'm supposed to owe? And he's like, nope, you're supposed to tell us. So, and that's basically how stupid the IRS is when you think about that. That example was like perfect. It is that exactly. So like tell me how much I'm supposed to owe, but oh no, we'll if you make a mistake, they're gonna go after you. And when you really think about it, the abolishing the federal income tax would help so many people, like so many people that that have to pay into that thing, because let me mute Lester here. The federal income tax is the most broken tax in American society, and what people don't know is that America, for the most part in its history, has not had an income tax. We haven't. We had an income tax only one time in American history, and that was during the Civil War. And during the Civil War, I think it was like only 4%. And Lincoln had to put in an income tax because he needed, money to be able to fund an army to go after the Confederacy, to stop the Confederacy. He needed, troops, guns, uniforms, trains, horses, supplies. So that's why he put in an income tax. But once the Civil War ended, the income tax was abolished. And then the income tax was actually brought back in 1913 by Woodrow Wilson. And that's and ever since then it's just grown and grown. But the reason that it's ultimately such a broken system and it doesn't work is, think about it this way. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, the rich should pay their fair share. But what the people don't understand is that the super rich, they pay no income tax. They don't. Now, millionaires pay an income tax. They do. But when we're talking like, billionaires, we're talking like people that are like, having billions of dollars, they pay nothing. Nothing. And so like you have these top people like even in government, even like the current president. I don't want to get into the politics of it right now, but he hasn't paid any income tax. And the reason that these billionaires, the reason that they don't pay any income tax is because what they do is they put all of their money in the stock market. So what billionaires will do is they'll take like 99% of their money and they'll put it in the stock market, and then they'll keep like 1% basically around just to pay bills. And what they'll do is they'll take all of the other money and use that stock to basically get loans. So they'll get loans from like banks, and they'll get a very low interest rate because the banks will see, how much money they're getting from these stocks specifically. And so the stocks are basically collateral. So if the banks want, they can just take the person's stocks from them. And so what the person does is the government is supposed to tax you on your income. And when they're doing their income taxes, these really rich people, these billionaires, they say, "Oh, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I'm poor." And that might sound ridiculous, but that's exactly what the really super rich people like the billionaires do. Is they basically say, "Oh, all of my money is in stocks, so I don't have any money, so I can't pay taxes." And that's basically how they get around to paying no income tax. So what these really rich people are doing, it's not necessarily like illegal what they're doing, but the average person can't do it. Like me and you, we can't do this stuff. Even millionaires can't do it. It's only the the really rich, like the billionaires, who basically get away with doing stuff like this. So the reason that income tax is such a broken system is because the really rich people, they have like a team of lawyers 24/7 where they can, no matter what these guys do, they will always have like lawyers that will find something. And people always say, "Oh, patch the loopholes, patch the loopholes." But if you look at all countries, and this isn't just America, if you look at other countries with income tax, the exact same thing happens, where the rich people, super rich, the billionaires, they pay almost no income tax. And it's the reason they pay almost no income tax is because they have lawyers. And these really rich people, they have these lawyers, these really good lawyers, that they will find the smallest little thing that to get around not paying it. And so they're not necessarily breaking the law, they just have like a team of lawyers that basically know the ins and outs of every little thing. But the average common man and woman, we can't do stuff like that. And so what the income tax does is you have a system where the super rich, like the really rich billionaires, they pay nothing. And then you have a system where, everybody else, the millionaires and middle class and lower class, everybody's paying them, and the super rich are paying nothing. So it's really a broken system. So the only solution, in my opinion, is to abolish the income tax. That's the only solution, because then everybody doesn't have to pay it. Because no matter how many fixes you try to do, no matter how many new laws you try to pass, the really rich will always have that team of lawyers that will basically find some loophole not to pay the income tax. So ultimately, I think that it should be abolished, and the IRS should be abolished with that, and I think that's the only way to really get it done. So honestly, I hear these politicians a lot of times saying, the rich should pay their fair share, but they don't understand is that these really rich people, they have like a team of lawyers, and they will, they will basically do everything to get around paying that. That's basically what I'll say about that. Okay, let's get through here. I did mute Lester a lot of times. Lester does get annoying. If each of us gets four crates, four things, I think will be good. I'm gonna look at the super chats in a little bit, guys. I'm just gonna focus right now on getting the gold because I want to just try to get this all of Brandon here. See if we can get this all here. Another one done. Brandon, when you're done there, get B. You hear me? Get B when you're done there. We might actually be able to get it all. Brandon, get B, get B. Go.
Gas incoming. 10 seconds. That's it. Get the hell out of there or you're dead.
Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Look at that. Everything. And people say you can't get all the gold with 2 people.
Get all that across the finish line and we're home and dry.
Why do slow? Because gold always just picks up slowly. Swipe, Brendan. Everything. We got everything. That's an amazing haul right there. What about abolishing the Federal Reserve? Yeah. Oh, this. Don't jump in here, Brandon. Well, I don't think we can even with this. Thank you, Isaiah. But yeah, I mean, what I was saying earlier is the federal income tax. You know, for most people, it's gonna take around 30% of your money. You know, and so just think about that. You have now 30% of your money back in your pocket again every single year. And for a lot of people, that's going to help them. Imagine all the people that could pay off their mortgages if they didn't get taxed so much too. So I think that ultimately will be a good thing. Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. We literally... We got all the gold, we got everything, and now we can't get out here. This glitch... Oh my god. I'm so done with this crap. I'm so done with this. This is such BS right now. Oh my god. We literally got every single gold bar and now we're glitched. Oh my god. Great again. Such BS. No, I don't think anyone jumped. Gilly Master was right about that. Yeah. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to make a video on this also, alongside Gilly Master. I'll share Gilly Master's video to give him credit, but I will, I think if I make a video talking about this too, I think it'll also help bring this to attention. But this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Is that oh my god. Think about all the money that Rockstar makes, like how rich this company is, the amount they shell in shark cards, and they can't even fix a stupid glitch like this. The amount of times this has happened. Oh, man. It said you left. I didn't leave, Brandon. Invite me again. Maybe this is Rockstar's way of limiting your earnings in a heist. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but... man, this is pretty dumb here. Brandon, listen, I'm gonna help you with the heist one more time, but if it happens again, I'm just gonna get off. If, I just don't want to do the heist again if it happens again. I'll help you one more time if that's okay. I just don't want to go through this again if it happens a second time. So I'll help you one more time, but if we get glitched again, then, when's the next Mafia 3 upload? Tomorrow. No, I haven't, BK Vincent. I should. They should have a support. Well, Rockstar support. Good luck with them. They don't do anything. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Brandon's invite. Yeah, or I can help you with that tomorrow also, Raccoon. I'm sorry, guys, for the glitch. I'm sorry. Oh, we got 500 viewers tonight. Well, thank you guys for coming to hang out with me and listening to me talk. I do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Who's Channel Drifter, kids? It's not Brandon's fault. It's the game's. No, don't blame Brandon, guys. It's not Brandon's fault. It's a glitch in the game. It's there's nothing anyone could have done here. Okay. Professional speaking about world issues, the best part of the streaming video. So thank you, Brian. Does it ever feel surreal that you have 1 million people subscribed to? Yeah. It feels like yesterday too, where my channel started growing for the first time. My channel doesn't grow as much as it used to back in the day. Like back in the day, I grew a lot faster, but I'm fine with that. I'm happy with the viewers that I have right now and the subscribers I have right now. I'm happy with it. Is YouTube shadow banning you from passing 1.1 million subs? I don't know. I don't. I don't know. I used to have a lot more views back in the day, but I think I don't know if it's necessarily shadow banning. I think what it might be is it might be that I just started playing other content because most of my viewers back in the day came from GTA Online specific content, which I still do GTA content, but. Do some people unsubscribe to you every now and then? I have people that unsubscribe from me every day. Every day. Like, this stream, I've lost 20 subscribers this stream. So, I have people that unsubscribe from me, every day. But, it is what it is. There's nothing I can really do about that. I just wish sometimes people would tell me the reason for it, but, you can't please everybody. You can't make everybody happy. I always try to be, respectful and, helpful towards everyone, but some people, I guess there's nothing you can do. But it's mostly a net gain? No. Well, like this month, for example, this month I haven't really had a net gain. This month I'm minus 600 subscribers. So this month I've lost, 600 subscribers more than gained. But some months it'll go up. Like some months it'll be like 1,000 plus, but other months it'll be like a net, net loss. So I guess it's a loss on this one here. But it is what it is. It's not like something I'm gonna go crazy over or get downed over.
Hold up. The system here uses a two-man rule. You'll need to scan the vault access cards simultaneously.
Swipe, Brandon, quick, before more of them come. Mute Lester. Not really a way for me to mute him in the game. I have to mute the volume on OBS. I need to make more viral videos. That's the trick, is, what's a viral video exactly? I've been trying to experiment with shorts. Like, shorts, I've been doing much more. Like, my moderator, he's been helping me out, editing a lot of shorts for me. But it's, I'm not really good at editing shorts. But it's, yeah, that's what I'll say. I've been trying. Do you guys like my new shorts content? I've been doing that lately. Do you guys like that? Because I've never really done that before. I've been experimenting with that a little bit more, but... Brandon, make sure you, we're gonna do the same strategy we did before, Brandon. What is my character doing right now? What is he doing? Brandon, go right side, I am going left side, and get the stuff in the middle, last, okay? Get it last. Brandon, if this heist glitches out again, I'm gonna leave. I'm nothing against you. I just don't feel like doing this again. I don't blame you if it glitches out. Just letting you know.
And we are in. As of now, a little time is a lot of money, people. You have struck gold, my friends, on the carts. I'll keep you updated on the gas, or more precisely, the excruciating and irreversible nerve agent. There's only so long our hacking team can delay it, and trust me, when that timer runs out, you're gonna want to be long gone. There's a set of lock.
Okay, Brandon, if each one of us gets four gold, we'll be good. Each gotta get 4 tables, and we'll be good. According to your Social Blade, you're up 44 subscribers. Guess Social Blade has a strange metric. Social Blade is not accurate. I'm telling you that right now. A lot of times, the money that it says I have and like the subscribers that it says it is not accurate. But right now, yeah, I this month in the last 28 days, I can actually look at this on my Studio app. I am minus 647 subscribers. So yeah, I'm down 647 subscribers. And what that basically means is that I have lost more subs than I've gained in the last month. But there's really nothing I can do about that. You know, you cannot make everybody happy. But, you know, some months I'll be positive. Like, some months I'll have like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers up, but other months I'll be down. But this is one of those where I'm down. Same with Angry Joe subs. What do you mean, Green? Oh, you mean he's talked about this stuff, right? Yeah. Brandon, you might as don't get that anymore. Don't get that. Don't get G. Just get B. Get B. Don't waste any more time there, Brandon. I forgot I had a thermal charge. I could have just put it on that extra door there. God damn. God damn. My bad. It's on that. My bad. Man. And the thing is, the first run that we had, in that, it was so good. Like, the first run that we had on this heist, it was just so good. And then the stupid heist had to glitch out, and now this crap happens. Now the gold is all in different places in the vault. It's... Hey, TJ. Go, Brandon, go. Okay. We're gonna get every single gold bar in here. Every single one.
We're almost there. Come on, let's go. Looks like the guard at the vault room isn't there. Happy days.
Was he the guy who got killed in his house menacing?
Make sure you plant them on both sides of the door. Let's only do this once.
Because I remember I watched the documentary in the Chicago outfit a long time ago, but... Yeah, there was... After Al Capone died, there was a power struggle in the organization. Or after Al Capone was removed from power, I should say.
And we are in. As of now, a little time is a lot of money, people. You have struck gold, my friends, on the card.
Brandon, Do not hack any doors. If anything, I'll just use my other thermal charge. Use the thermal charges. Those, if you run out of them, let me throw another thermal charge on.
And trust me, when that timer runs out, you're gonna want to be long gone. There's a set of lockboxes in here. Drill them if you've got the time, but I can't promise you there'll be anything good inside.
Okay, come on. Okay, we have to each get 4 tables. If we get 4 tables, we'll get all the gold. Getting everything in here now. Okay, it's 1 table. Crap, another one. Okay, here. Brandon, when you're done over there, come over here. I'm gonna need your help getting these inside. We're getting the ones in the middle last.
The hacking team can hold off the gas a little while longer. There's still some rich pickings in there.
God damn, Brandon, I really hope that you have a thermal charge. Can you put it on that door over there if you got one? Okay, come on, come on.
30 seconds.
There we go.
Seconds left. Don't dawdle. Gas incoming. 10 seconds. That's it. Get the hell out of there or you're dead.
We had a really good run the first time. Oh, screw it, I'm just gonna get out of here. It's too much. Damn, we haven't gotten it all.
Looking good. Get all that across the finish line and we're home and dry. You'll need to sync your keycard swipes on the way out too.
Okay, if this glitches out again, I'm done with this. But literally, the first time that we did this heist, we had like 2,800,000, and it was such a good run. But like now, that stupid glitch happened.
They've reinforced the security room, and that's your only way out. Get ready. Don't relax once you've made it to the top of the shaft. We're not out of the woods yet.
Zombie, are you still here also? I'm just so pissed right now. I'm gonna literally kill every single security guard. I'm just so pissed about that heist. I'm definitely gonna make a video about this, guys. I'm so pissed that literally we got cheated out of $700,000. $700,000 we got cheated. The first run we had it, we got everything in the vault, but the stupid thing glitched out. Like literally, I'm gonna massacre every single guard in this casino at this point now, because I'm just so pissed.
Tool's going to spoof the fingerprint scanner. Select the partial print tiles and move them to match the fingerprint on screen. Once you've made your choice, run the simulation and see how it stacks up. I guess you can take as long as you need. It's not like we have the element of surprise to worry about anymore. Those bags look heavy. We are going to have some very satisfied customers.
Yeah, I know, Brendan. You told me it's a getaway car.
Feel so alive.
Okay.
I even think my eczema's clearing up.
Oh, he died in a bowling alley. Oh, okay.
You know what
I
they
didn't
say?
that one.
In the event of emergency, leave all valuables behind and do not use the elevators.
Brandon, go and get the money in there. We're getting some of our money back. I'm pissed about the money that got lost. Okay. In the meantime, I'm gonna literally have a field day with these guards. I'm just so pissed right now. Brandon, come on. Okay. Cover me for a second, Brandon. Yeah, I literally just went Tony Montana on all the guards in the casino because I'm just so pissed about this crap. Your comment is up top. Did you see TGT's video about GTA 5 story? You'll appreciate GTA 5 story a bit more if you watch it. TGT made some good points in the video. He said the Stretch and Franklin plot wasn't fleshed out well. I think that the problem with Franklin's storyline is that Trevor and you know what's really weird about GTA 5? You know what the really weird thing about the game is? The really weird thing about the game is that even though there's 3 characters, the main character is Franklin. It's obvious he's the main character. But Trevor and even though Franklin is supposed to be the main character, Trevor and Michael's storyline is the center of attention in the storyline, and Franklin's storyline is like barely anything, even though he's supposed to be the main guy. Like the whole storyline of Stretch, it could have been better. There could have been just even more stuff to it. That's.
Getaway cars, go! The driver has them in position.
Labar was supposed to take over if Franklin dies? Oh, well. Damn. NPCs need to die. Okay, come on, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. But I don't know if I'm gonna go for the clean car because it's not in the direct path.
Wow, we really kicked the hornet's nest. It's amazing how fast the police response time is when the guy calling 911 is a billionaire. Or should I say, ex-billionaire after his next insurance premium comes through.
Franklin is like CJ without seasoning salt.
Just got word from
Um,
the decoy. We don't have
what what do you mean? You mean that he doesn't have like a personality? Is that what you mean?
the decoy is
Can you explain what you mean a little bit more, Pumpkin? Franklin was my favorite character out of the three. If you know, Michael, Trevor, and Franklin was my favorite one out of the three. And the reason I like Franklin the most is because Franklin was more of a realist. Is that like where he realized that being like stuck in the gang warfare wasn't like gonna get the money, and it was just stupid, and it was gonna get them killed. And he realized there's better ways of making money. That's what I liked about Franklin, is that Franklin was like really thinking outside the box, where like Lamar was stuck in that gang mentality. So that's what I really liked about Franklin, is I guess he was kind of inspired by CJ, where he wanted to go and make something of himself. He didn't just want to be stuck with the gang constantly.
lose the cops. If we take them to the buyer, this is all for nothing.
No problem, Brandon.
Good work. You lost them. And listening to their channels, they are pissed. I'm not one to be premature. I'm not whatever they told you, but hear me when I say that we are on the verge of pulling off the single greatest feat of organized criminality this city has ever seen. Admittedly, I'm knocking myself off the top spot.
Franklin's whole ambition was to move away from the hood. It teaches you a lesson about life, that it's okay to be ambitious sometimes. Yeah, I would agree with that. What do you guys think the moral lesson was on like Trevor and Michael's like storyline? Like, do you think there was some kind of moral lesson there? Because I was oh, and I missed a few super chats. Let me look. I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Professional, have I ever played Rainbow Six Siege? I have, Walter Reyes. And I see you have a Siege avatar there. I'm sorry I didn't see your oh, that's what you mean, Pumpkin. That his character was bland. I see that you have that's the German operator, right? That you have on there. Well, Walter, I have played Siege. I actually bought Siege on day one when it came out. It was in 2015. I did. Oh, gotta mute this. I did buy Siege right when it came out, but the thing is, I started disliking Siege after a couple years. The reason I started disliking Siege is because Siege went from like this special forces, like, you know, breach and clear, to kind of like this esports stuff. And I didn't really like it. Like, the characters started having like goofy outfits. It wasn't like realistic anymore, and it was like, that's the point where I just disliked it. I just didn't like it as much anymore. And do you know what my favorite mode on Rainbow Six Siege was? It wasn't even the multiplayer. The terrorist hunt. That was my favorite mode in Siege, was fighting the AI. I actually did enjoy doing that, and had fun with that. Moral is maybe loyalty. The thing is, I did a poll 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I did a poll, and I asked you guys who is right, Michael or Trevor, like who's right in the argument. And I think I remember it was like 30% of people said that Trevor was right. 20% of people said that Michael was right, and then 50% of people chose option 3, which was they were both wrong. Thanks for the advice, Pro. I'll keep that in mind. No problem, Greens. Yeah, and don't let losing subscribers get to you. Like I said, I've lost 20 subscribers on this stream today, but don't let it get to you. Don't let that stuff like that stop you from streaming or playing, because there are people that are gonna find you and enjoy your content. I would just not look at the subscriber count. Like, just keep doing what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing, and that's about it. That mask is not tough. I never said that it was tough. Hey Pro, I love that you're playing Mafia 3. You're in for one hell of a ride. Have you done brutal takedowns? Hold circle near an enemy and let go on the right time. If other enemies are nearby, they get scared for a bit. Really? I did not know that. I gotta try that. So, hold circle near an enemy and let go at the right time. Okay. I gotta try to experiment with that. Thank you, Bunny, for the super chat. Is that gun legal I mean, not gun. Is that game legal in Vietnam, Gunner? Because the Mafia 3 talks about the Vietnam War a lot. Thank you, Phoenix, for sponsoring my channel for 4 months. Will I do another DCH? What's DCH? Gray, if it's okay with you, can I help you later this week, or I could help you on the next stream. I just haven't eaten dinner yet, and I'm just really hungry, if that's okay. But I can help you with your heist on the next time. Yes, thanks to our censorship board being absolute morons when it comes to games. So Mafia 3 is illegal in Vietnam. Okay. Or Minion Dave is saying it's not illegal, and then Gunner's saying it is. Well, I'm... Do you have any home dinner recipes? No, not really. The thing is, there is really only 2 types of food that I know how to cook. And the one food that I do know how to cook really good is quesadillas. Quesadillas, I'm really good at cooking. Quesadillas are the #1 food that I've cooked. I've eaten quesadillas more than any other food that I've cooked. I probably have a few of them every month. And the reason I like quesadillas so much is because oh, it is legal. Oh, okay. But I'm sorry, I just read your comment wrong. The reason I like quesadillas so much is because a quesadilla has an infinite amount of possibilities. Is you could put so many different stuff in it. There's so many different items that you can put inside a quesadilla. There's so many different combinations you can make. You can make an infinite amount of combinations. That's why it's my ultimate favorite, Mexican food. It is just because it's just so many different things you can put inside it. And the only other food I know how to cook is soup. I don't know if you really count that as cooking. But I've experimented with different soup recipes before. But that's pretty much it. I don't know how to cook other stuff. I know how to fry stuff, obviously, cook some small things. But if you're asking me fancy cooking and making a specific dish, no, I don't know how to do that. No, I'm not good at that. Can I cook any Polish food? No, not really. I tried to cook placki once, which is it's a Polish recipe, and I even looked up how to do it, and I failed. I just messed up the whole batch. I ruined it. I wasted money. I messed up with the potato cooking. It was bad. I had to throw everything out. I messed it up, and I even followed the instructions, so I don't know what I did wrong. I must have messed something up, but it was just bad. No, I haven't had pasta in a long time. Maybe more than half a year. I haven't had pasta. Who would win in a fight, Lincoln Clay or James Earl Cash? That's a difficult one. Probably Lincoln because he's special forces. I just finished a heist, so we're just talking, hanging out right now. Come to the south in the winter, Pro. The food is unbelievable, huh? Well, I have to check that out. I did have food in the south a long time ago when I visited Florida a long time ago. I remember me and my friend, we stopped in South Carolina, and we had food. We had food at a few Waffle Houses, and they were like local to the area, and they had some really good food, some really good Southern food. Yes, so what is it, there's like some kind of Cold War threat, right? In the Donovan's DLC, right, Gunner? The Tucker lore video, it will be right after my next Mafia lore video. I'll start working on that. But I'm gonna make it, dude. Just be patient with me, and I'll make it. Just be patient. I'll have I'll tell you what. I promise you this. I will have the Tucker lore video before Halloween. So just give me until the end of October, and I'll have it, because I have to work on the Mafia lore videos first. But I'll have the Tucker lore video before Halloween. So just give me a time on that, and I'll have it done for you. I promise. On Days Gone, so I'll have that Days Gone Tucker lore video done. Is that okay, Fennel? What's for dinner? I have some chicken tenders that I ordered from a restaurant yesterday. I'll probably just heat that up in the microwave. It's probably I still have a bunch of them, so I'll probably just have that. GTA 5 Wade lore video canceled? No. There's a lot of lore videos that I'm making. It just for me, guys. When I do all these playthroughs and I do the crazy current events videos and I also do the live streams, it's very hard for me to also work on the lore videos because I have just so many things I'm doing at once. So that's just why lore videos a lot of times take a long time to make. But I've tried to do it where I do one lore video a month. So I did a lore video last month, and I'm the Cesare one, and I'm trying to do one again. My weekend was good, Warrior. Take your time, Pro. Don't worry. Well, thank you, Royale. Thanks, dude. And Fennel, is that okay if you wait a little bit for longer for the Tucker lore video? Of course, it's okay. I'm sorry for bothering you and asking you. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. You have a right to ask me because I talked about the Tucker lore video back in May, and it's already September. It's about to be October, and I still haven't done it yet. So it's so yeah, you have a right to ask about it. Don't worry. Oh, okay, Gunner. Well, I'll be sure to play it too. But I guess I'll be going here, guys. Thank you, everybody for being patient with me on the lore videos. Thank you, guys. Also, guys, I will have a video this week. I'll have two. This week, I will have two videos for you guys, besides the playthroughs. I will have one video on the, one video talking about that stupid glitch in GTA Online with the heists, with the getting stuck in the man trap, and because it happened to me earlier on the stream. And then the second video I'm going to be talking about is I have a crazy current events video, another one. And the crazy current events video that I have coming up this week is there was this guy in North Korea, a North Korean man. He got arrested for writing writing to his girlfriend, "I love you." Like, I'm not joking. Like, he wrote a letter to his girlfriend, and in the letter he wrote, "I love you," and the North Korean government searched his bag at a factory, and they said that "I love you" is like an American phrase, and it promotes like capitalism and American propaganda, and he ended up getting detained for that, and I'm gonna do a video talking about that. But that's one of the most ridiculous things that I've heard about. But that's honestly just shows you why North Korea is hell on earth. But apparently saying "I love you" to your girlfriend, apparently that's American propaganda. I don't even know how that is, but it's Mafia 3 part tonight. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be tomorrow part. And then hopefully by Saturday or Sunday, I will have the Mafia lore video. So next week from now, I will have the Mafia lore video, hopefully. The Henry lore video. The Henry lore video will come out before the Leo Galante lore video. So I'll release the Henry lore video. And if you want to know what the Henry lore video will be, the Henry lore video will basically be me talking about whether Henry really was a rat and what his plan was. I'm gonna be and I'm also gonna talk about who the fake cops were. So if you're wondering who the fake cops were that showed up at the deal, I'm gonna talk about that and explain who they were in the Mafia lore video, because that's a very unsolved mystery, but I'm pretty sure I know who it was and why, what was going on. But I guess I'll be wrapping this up here. I'll play the other Metal Gear Solid games in the future. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope that you guys all have a great Sunday. Again, thank you everybody for coming by the stream. You know, we have nearly 500 viewers tonight. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You guys always put me in a good mood, and I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.